I avoided mirrors for years. I took down nearly every mirror in my house because I just couldn't deal with seeing myself on a daily basis. Welcome back to the Mailman, welcome back to the channel. My name is Punith, and if you're new here, welcome, first of all. The Mailman is a brand focused on breaking the stigma around male body image issues and the mental health impact it can have on males of all shapes, sizes, colours, whatever you feel insecure about. I used to hate mirrors. I used to avoid them, I used to take them down. I just couldn't stand looking at myself. And I know I spoke about weight and my body shape a lot, but I actually went through another quite significant period, and that's acne. In some respects, that's probably worse because body shape, size, weight, I could almost cover myself up, psychologically feel better. But with acne, you can't really do that. I mean, you can with makeup, and I did have to resort to that concealer and stuff like that just to kind of feel a little bit more confident. But for most of the time, I had some severe acne that I just couldn't hide from. It was horrendous, and I'm talking about not just spots, like a few spots. I'm talking about my entire face being covered in huge bulging kind of acne and pus and redness, soreness. It was painful. It was almost like a reaction to something. Turned out, yeah, I was allergic to many foods, but I had to take a blood test to find that out. But it all started at the kind of typical age, 13, puberty age. Hormones change, you feel a little bit more like a young adult, face gets more oily, start growing a bit of facial hair. The perfect combination for bacteria to grow, basically. Yeah, 13-ish, started getting spots, just like most kids. Didn't really change my diet, still very processed foods, sugary foods, chocolates, fizzy drinks. It was only a couple of years later when, I started feeling a bit insecure about my face. Prior to that, it was always about my body and the shape. So I put a bit more emphasis into washing daily, using soap, face wash, Clearasil. It didn't really work. I tried a couple of things from, remember these online shopping channels? There was one which promoted this kind of tea tree oil scrub and stuff. I think it was like 60 quid from memory. But I bought that, got my mum to buy that, because they could kind of see how severe it was starting to get. That again, it kind of dried up my face, worked for a little bit, but then the acne would just come back. Went to the doctor, tried various pills. Again, I can't remember, I probably tried 5 or 6 different acne medications, as in pills from the doctor prescribed, and I don't think any of them really worked. But then the blood test, this is slightly older, so I was in my late teens, did a blood test, realised I was actually allergic to a number of different foods, which was already kind of in my diet. Eggs, coriander, red peppers, banana, and many others. So I tried controlling myself, eating those things, and that actually did help a little bit. It brought down the redness and the blemishes and the soreness, but the spots were still there. And then later on, as I got a bit older, I'm talking sort of early 20s, I went down the route of Roaccutane. That came with loads of health warnings, suicide, etc. at that point I had no other resort. I had to take it, and that was a miracle drug. That dried up my face completely. It took a while to kick in. I think I had to take the pills for about 2 months before I started to kind of see and feel a difference. But it was so potent that I had to stop after 6 months and just kind of get it out of my system a little bit, and then restart and do another cycle. But the funny thing is, during that little break, the acne came back. But it came back with a vengeance. It was worse than ever. So then I went down the route of Roaccutane again, this time slightly stronger dose for a bit longer, and I did that on and off for around 3 years. And then it got to a point where I don't think they would allow me to have any more, because I'd taken like a lot during a 3-year period. And then I just had to kind of resort to controlling what I was eating, using other kind of topical creams, benzoyl peroxide, that kind of stuff. And over the, let's say, my adult years, it's come and gone. Right now, it's pretty good. I don't think I've got any real spots. But that's because I use this Acne-side, like 5% cream every night. And that really does help. I also really try and cut down on my trigger foods, like the sugars, the banana, the dairy. I try and stick away from cow dairy. So little things like that have managed to help me control it. But my God, back in the day when it was bad, it was probably one of the worst faces you've ever seen. And I don't think I ever took any pictures. I've got my uni graduation picture, which shows partially bad skin. It wasn't ever near as worse as it was, but that was a real shit situation, trying to clear my skin before graduation picture. I think I tried this apple diet where you just eat apples for 3 days, and then hopefully it just cleanses and clears all the toxins in your body. But that again was some it was like a TV commercial thing, which I just thought, it's going to clear my skin, I'm going to buy it. It's like £100 to buy an ebook that's going to basically tell me to eat 20 apples a day and drink like 5 litres of water a day. And that was it, and that was literally the book. But over the years, with my skin being that bad, mentally it just fucked me even more, because every time I go past the mirror I'd have to check. Even if there'd been a time frame of like 30 seconds between seeing myself, I'd always check to see, has it got any better or any worse, or is there a new spot that I could pick. When I started putting concealer on, I'd be constantly in front of the mirror, just tapping, dabbing a little bit extra on, just to make sure that none of the oil or the redness was starting to seep through from the first layer of concealer. It was a real like head fuck period for me, because I got to a point where I knew 30 seconds, a minute, even a day, it's not going to make a huge difference in my skin. And I'm going to have to just accept the fact that these skin conditions take weeks to heal. There's nothing that I could do. And so to make myself feel better, I just took mirrors down. Because in my head, if there wasn't a mirror to check myself in, I wouldn't have a way to compare myself. I wouldn't see myself. I wouldn't see how good it got or how bad it got. I would just have to deal with it, knowing that my skin is bad, but there wouldn't be a constant reminder. But then, without the mirror, what did I do? I used to check myself in window reflections. I used to check myself in my screen on my phone, in sunglasses. became obsessed. I was obsessed with checking myself, but I was also obsessed with not wanting to see the truth. And that has just stayed with me. You know, I can't help looking at myself, whether it's to see how my skin is, or how my body shape is, or how, you know, I look that day. And I know that's a normal thing, right? You just want to check yourself out and see, but doing it 3-4 times a day before even going 3-4 times in the morning before even going to work, and then even at work, whenever you go to the toilet, just looking at yourself in the mirror for a lot longer than you really should, to make sure mentally you feel comfortable going back out into an open space where people can see you. It's not quite right, is it? These are the kind of things that I've had to deal with, and I will try and find some old pictures. I'm sure there are pictures of my acne being bad that I took to show the doctors, so I'll try and dig those out. But it wasn't all just about weight and body shape for me. It was far worse. And yet you might feel, well, it's acne, right? It's something you're going to grow out of. I never really did. If I stop putting that cream on, I will get acne back, I promise you. That cream has helped me a lot. So maybe try it if you just want to feel a little bit more comfortable in yourself. I never really got bullied for having spots. It was more myself bullying me, my mind bullying me, because I just knew how horrible I looked and how difficult I made it for myself and the people closest to me. If you've had a bad experience with acne, or if you're going through some difficulties, let me know. Tell me what you've tried, what you're trying. Perhaps I've given you some tips into, you know, things you can look at for yourself. Checking what you're allergic to, maybe trying a topical cream. Certainly don't go down the route of buying these bullshit courses and little ebooks and stuff, because that was pointless. If you've got spots, you've got something fundamentally wrong inside that you need to sort out, whether that's an allergy or some sort of reaction, a hormonal change. Stuff like that is not going to be treated straight away overnight by just buying an ebook and eating apples for fucking 5 days. But yeah, have a think, let me know. Hopefully it might have helped. But if you are suffering, trust me, I've been there. You're not alone. Thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, really appreciate the commitment. The viewers are growing, the subscribers are growing. It's pushing the channel out more, which is really good. That's the whole aim, because body image insecurities are not something that we need to live with alone. There are so many of us out there suffering in silence, but hopefully if you see more and more people suffering, hopefully if you see more and more people being a bit more comfortable in themselves, not worrying so much, then it might just help you be a bit more free and comfortable. Because that's what I'm banking on, seeing more and more people being comfortable, being free, being relaxed, just enjoying the years that you've got, rather than worrying and stressing and feeling like you need to look a certain way, otherwise you can't have fun, or you can't enjoy that time with your loved ones. Because I've spent nearly 40 years wasting time on being way too insecure and way too bothered about what other people may or may not be thinking. So join the brand, join the community, subscribe to the channel. Again, that's the only way that we're really going to push this out. Comment, like, do the usual stuff. And I'll see you on the next one.